Travelers going to Kenya do require an electronic travel authorization, also known as the ETA. It's pretty straightforward to apply for. If you are applying individually, I would recommend you check out my other video, which is for single applicants. If you're applying as a group, like maybe a family application, this video is for you. So first, what you need to do is go to the official link, which I've linked in the description below. Once you're there, go ahead and click on Apply Now. You see on this page, they show you how to apply and who this is valid for. So for all travelers, you will need a valid passport valid for at least 6 months after your planned date of arrival into Kenya. This is pretty standard for most countries, and one blank page. You'll need a photo of yourself. This could be a selfie or passport style photo. I always encourage travelers to use a blank background, like a white background, just so it's clear for the immigration officials. They want your contact information, details of your arrival and departure into Kenya, your accommodation booking confirmations, and a payment method. So here, as we scroll down, there are some other things that they may require, like information on your financial assets, a return transportation booking, like a flight. Based on your country of residence and your travel history, you may need to show that you have a yellow fever certificate or any other vaccinations. And like it says here, this will depend on your residency or your travel history. They also say that based on the purpose of your visit, you may be required a letter and or appointment letter from your doctor, conference invitation, and employment contract supporting documents. These are not going to be for tourists, highly unlikely for tourists, I should say. We also have information here for business visits, family visits, and diplomatic travel, but most people applying for this are going just to be tourists. So you can see here that the processing time will vary depending on the ETA and your country of citizenship, though it tends to take about 3 working days. And if you do want a quicker turnaround, you should apply for the premium service. So once you're ready to get started, go ahead and click Continue. Here we have this declaration of consent. Read through it, make sure you understand it. Basically, it's just the terms and conditions and that you're going to behave. So once you have read through this and you understand everything, go ahead and tick that box to say that you have read and agreed to the above. And if you want more information about special offers and exciting updates, you can go ahead and tick that box. I have no idea what they'll send you, but if it appeals to you, go ahead and tick it. Otherwise, click Continue. Now you see here it's asking, are you an individual or if you're a group application? This can be a couple, a family, basically anybody who's a group. And in this case, we're going to click on Group Application. Now you need to read through here to make sure that you're eligible. They want people who live at the same country of residence, they have the same purpose of their trip to Kenya, and they share the same travel accommodation for their entire trip and stay in Kenya. So what you need to do is make sure that you qualify. If you don't, you do need to do the single application, and I will link that video in the description below so that you have it. It is slightly different. It's not, terrible or anything, but it is slightly different. So the questions are different, and you might think, well, hang on, this video doesn't apply to me. I don't have these questions. So just make sure you qualify, and if you do, go ahead and click Continue. Now it's next going to ask for your country of residence. Go ahead and put in your country of residence and then click Continue. This page is asking for your trip information. They want to know the purpose of your visit. So in this case, we're going to select tourism just for the purposes of this demonstration. You may be going for business. Maybe you are just going there as a transit, whatever. But in this case, we're going to do tourism. And so then what we want that arrival details. If you have booked your trip through a tour operator, they should be able to supply you with this information. If you've booked it independently, then you really should have this information. And then you just select how you're arriving, air, sea, or land. You're going to input those details, and then your country of origin. So let's just say you started your journey in Canada. So you would then say, well, I'm starting in Canada. That is my origin of my trip. But you're connecting in Doha and Qatar. So you would still put Canada because you've started your journey in Canada rather than Qatar. So you put your country of origin for your trip, and then your departure details, same thing. If you don't have this information, ask your tour operator. If you've booked independently, you should have this information. And then, so it says for this destination country, select the country where you will travel to as your final destination. So they're wanting to know basically where are you going after Kenya. If you're going onward to Tanzania, for example, for your trip, put in Tanzania. That is your final destination. If you're going home, maybe you're flying from Nairobi to London and onwards to Canada, you would put in Canada, for example. They don't want any transit points. Now, for your addresses in Kenya, you can just put your first night's accommodation. I know some people feel better putting in all of the camps, lodges, wherever. You can do that too, but you do only need the first point. So once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. Here on this page, you need to upload your passport page. This would be basically the page that has your picture on it and your details. I've had quite a few people ask me if they need to take a picture of their passport, print it, and then scan it. You definitely don't need to do that. That's quite a cumbersome way of doing it. You just need to take a picture. If you're going to just use a smartphone, just make sure it's clear and it's not blurry. I've seen so many people include really blurry passport photos. You definitely don't want that. If you have a scanner at home or access to one, that would be a great option as well. And then once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. Here on this page, they want your contact information. And so if they do need to contact you because they have questions about your application, this is how they're going to contact you. So go ahead and input your phone number. Make sure it's one that they can definitely contact you at if they do need you, your email address, and then your address. They want that. They want some information about your employment, just your occupation. You don't need to tell them where you work. They also want your emergency contacts. I'm not entirely sure why they would need that. Perhaps if they couldn't get a hold of you about your application, and if you do need to add more contacts, you can do so here. And once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. Here on this page, they just want basically all the travelers' details. So you just need to complete the country of birth, nationality at birth, your marital status. Have you been to Kenya before? Have you been denied entry to Kenya? Have you been convicted of any offense? Is your trip financed by a third party, which is not your employer nor a government? Just answer these questions truthfully. And once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. On this page, we have the customs declaration. Just make sure you answer this question truthfully. And once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. Here on this page, you need to submit the required documents. And you'll see here that they want your accommodation booking confirmations. If you don't have these and you book through a tour operator, they can supply you with this information. If you're staying with friends or family, you do need a bit more information and they can help you with that. If you have booked this independently, you should have this information on hand. And if you don't know the details, definitely look at your confirmations. Airline booking confirmation, you will need this. You do need to have your flights booked. And so once you've done that, you'll go ahead, select the file, include your flight reservations. And once you're ready, go ahead and click continue. On this page, it's basically, I guess you could say, a declaration. You do need to read through it. And you see here, you've got two different options. If you are the applicant applying, you can tick that. If you're just applying for somebody, you're maybe a third party or you're helping somebody and you're doing this for them, you would click here. You can leave any additional notes about your application. I honestly don't know what you would put here. I am aware of some people traveling to Kenya for funerals, and they did mention they were traveling for a funeral and it didn't help them speed up their application. So I don't think that they review this. They might, but I've had more people tell me that they don't and that they did include information here and it just wasn't considered. So once you've done this, go ahead and click continue. Here on this page, it shows you basically the processing time and the cost. There are rumors that there's going to be an expedited processing fee that can basically speed up your application. I don't know when they're going to release it. Maybe by the time you complete your application, it will be available to you. But at the moment, they only have standard processing. So we're going to click that and then click continue. And it's going to take us to this complete your application page where they want your payment details. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm not going to make a payment. I don't need an ETA for Kenya at this moment. But what would happen here is you would enter in your payment details, you would click pay, and you would receive an email confirmation just to show that you have it. You'll have information about your application, and hopefully within 72 hours, you will receive your ETA's approval. If not, I've heard of a lot of people not getting it within the 72 hours. You can apply up to 3 months before your trip, so I would not leave this to the last minute. Other than that, it's a very straightforward process, and that's it. It's that easy.